High up in the sky, 7 miles above the earth, on a plane flying from Chicago to Miami, something amazing happened. 3 people who had never met before were about to have their lives change completely. It wasn't a storm or scary news from the pilot. It was something quiet but very powerful. A young man suddenly grabbed his chest and fell down between the airplane seats. His face turned white and he couldn't breathe well. People around him started to worry and whisper to each other. The flight helpers ran over quickly. A woman screamed. Right then, a teacher named Alex Monroe got up from her seat. Her student Emma was sitting next to her, holding her hand tight. Emma's eyes were big and scared. Alex didn't know the young man who fell down. She didn't know what was wrong with him, but she knew she had to help. Not just for the stranger, but for Emma who was watching everything happen. That one moment, when Alex chose to help instead of staying in her seat, would change all their lives forever. If you like stories about being kind, helping others, and how people connect in special ways, please like this video. Leave a comment about what you think. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to our channel, Kindness Corner. When you do this, you help keep these true stories alive. Alex Monroe never thought she was special or a hero. She was just trying to get through each day. She was 35 years old and taught kids at a school in Chicago. She had been taking care of her 8-year-old student Emma alone since Emma's parents died in a house fire 2 years ago. Alex had adopted Emma because she loved her like her own daughter. Life had been sad since then. Every day was the same. Heavy feelings. Quiet times. Mornings started with making breakfast and getting Emma ready for school. Nights ended with homework, paying bills, and missing Emma's parents. Emma was the happy part of Alex's life. Emma's smile was the only joy in a home that felt too quiet most of the time. But Emma was getting older fast. Alex worried that Emma was learning too much about being sad when she should be learning about being a kid. When Alex got tickets for the plane to Miami, it wasn't for fun. It was for a big meeting about her teaching. A friend had told her about a job at a school that helped kids who had lost their families. This job could change their lives from just getting by each day to being truly happy again. Alex couldn't pay for a fancy hotel or leave Emma with someone else. So she brought Emma with her, hoping everything would work out but not expecting much good to happen. The plane ride had been normal until it wasn't. The young man in the seat across from them had looked fine. He was maybe 25 years old, wearing a nice suit and reading a book. Alex had not paid much attention to him. She was too busy helping Emma with her coloring book and trying to keep Emma happy during the long flight. But then someone made a sound like they couldn't breathe. A flight helper's voice sounded scared. There was a soft sound of someone falling. Alex looked up just in time to see the young man holding his chest and falling down between the seats like a toy that broke. People started talking quietly. Some people stood up. Some just looked. Without thinking about it, Alex got up and walked carefully past other seats. Emma pulled on her hand and said quietly, "Miss Alex." But Alex squeezed Emma's hand to tell her everything would be okay. Alex got down on her knees next to the young man. His face had no color and his heart was beating very slow and weak. A flight helper came over. She looked worried and didn't know what to do. "Is there a doctor on the plane?" she asked loudly. Nobody said anything. No one moved. Alex wasn't a doctor, but she knew how to help when someone's heart stops working. She knew that every second was important. She put her hands on the young man's chest and pushed down hard, then let go, then pushed again. She counted quietly to herself. Everyone on the plane got very quiet. All eyes looked at this regular woman in a simple sweater. fighting to save a stranger's life while her student watched from nearby. After several minutes that felt like hours, the young man started to wake up. His eyes opened slowly. The flight helper made a happy sound and everyone on the plane clapped their hands. The helpers on the ground were told to come help when the plane landed. The young man was still confused, but he held Alex's hand and said in a quiet voice, "Thank you," before closing his eyes to rest again. That could have been the end of the story, but it wasn't. When the plane landed in Miami, people walked off the plane. Many of them said nice things to Alex or patted her on the shoulder. Alex didn't think it was a big deal. She got Emma's backpack, took Emma's hand, and walked off the plane like everyone else. What Alex didn't know was that the young man she helped was Catherine Hale's son, Michael Hale. Catherine Hale was the boss of a huge company that made computer programs and helped people around the world. Michael had been flying to meet his mother for an important business dinner when his heart had a problem that doctors didn't know about before. He lived because Alex helped him. 3 days later, Alex sat nervously outside a meeting room wearing her best dress that was a little too old. She had no idea that Catherine Hale was the person she was going to meet about the teaching job. When Catherine walked into the room and saw Alex's face, a warm smile came across her face. Not the kind of cold smile she used in business meetings, but something warmer and more real. She stopped walking. "You're the woman from the plane," Catherine said quietly. Alex stood up and wasn't sure if she should say sorry or say something else, but Catherine just pointed to a chair and told Alex to sit down. What happened next wasn't like a normal job meeting. Catherine asked Alex about her life, about Emma, about losing people you love and being strong and trying to do the right thing for a child even when life felt too hard. Alex talked honestly and simply. She didn't know that every word she said was making Catherine feel things she hadn't felt in years. Caring about others, having a purpose, seeing things clearly. Catherine didn't give Alex the teaching job she had asked for. She offered her something better. A job working on a new project her company had been quietly making. Something that helped communities design things to help people and gave regular people like Alex a chance to make important decisions. Catherine said she wanted real people with real life stories, not just people with fancy college degrees. Alex said yes. She was shocked and amazed. The job paid a lot of money, helped with finding a place to live, and gave Emma a chance to go to one of the best schools in Miami for free. It was more than a second chance. It was a completely new beginning. Over the next few months, Alex did really well at her job. She brought her quiet, smart thinking and her understanding of how to fix things to the team. She surprised even herself with how good she was. Emma grew happier. She was around other kids and teachers who encouraged her to ask questions and use her imagination. Catherine stayed friends with them. She helped Alex learn new things from far away and even invited Alex and Emma to private company parties. Emma would run through the halls of the tall glass office buildings like they were her own castle. And then something happened that made everything complete. At a big fancy dinner where Catherine's company gave money to help people, Alex was asked to give a speech. She stood nervously in front of a room full of business people and people who gave money to help others. Alex didn't talk about making money or selling things. She talked about the power of being there for someone. She talked about what it means to reach out when someone falls down. She talked about how one moment of caring, one choice to stand up instead of staying sitting, can change the future in ways we can never know will happen. The room became very quiet. Even Catherine wiped tears from her eyes. After Alex finished talking, Emma pulled on her dress and whispered, "I'm proud of you, Miss Alex." And for the first time in a long time, Alex believed she deserved to hear those words. If this story made you feel good inside, if it reminded you that being kind is never a waste of time and that even sad paths can lead to beautiful places, please like this video. Share it with someone who needs a little hope today. Subscribe to Kindness Corner. When you support us, you help keep stories like this alive and spreading to more people. We have a special question for you. Tell us in the comments what you would have done if you were on that plane. Or has a stranger's kindness ever changed your life in ways you didn't expect? We would love to hear your story.